This video is for on-screen takeoff and quick bid. It's for adds and deducts. So you have a contractor and they want a price on some ceiling work. They want to get a price for a basic install of a 15/16 grid system with flat lay-in tile in a couple of different areas. They have an area that is 1,500 square feet and they have an area that is 500 square feet, and they basically just want a base bid for the 1,000 square feet, and they want a couple different alternates for the 500 square feet. So you're going to need a base bid starting off. They want the whole entire project to be 15/16 flat lay-in tile. So you're going to go ahead and do a takeoff of a 2x4 ceiling system for the whole entire project. And you're going to go ahead and create a price, base bid price in quick bid. And you're going to have a 2x4 ceiling system, consisting of 1,500 square feet, and that is going to be your base bid. You're basically going to have your ceiling system, you're going to have your hanger wires, your perimeter wires, your wall angle, your screws, your Burt clips, your grid. I always do cut in for my grid and field grid. And you're going to have your seismic posts, your seismic post material, hanger wires, seismic wires, and then at the bottom I usually do your ceiling tile because that's what you're doing last. And I have cutting in the ceiling tile, how many lineal feet a day someone can do, and then just dropping field tile, how many square feet someone can do in one day. So there's your base bid. It's going to be $6,524. And then the contractor also wants two additional pricings. He wants a price for a 2x2 grid system and a tegular tile in the 500 square foot area. So in this area right here, he says the customer wants a nicer ceiling tile and a nicer grid system in there. So they basically want a 2x2 ceiling with a tegular tile. And he says, what's going to be the price difference on that? So they're going to be installing something nicer. That's going to be an additional charge. So you need to go ahead and create an alternate for that. And after you've created your alternate, which I've already done, whoa, hold on, things are getting crazy here. You're going to want to go to your alternate, and you can do it two ways. You can do going to bid, and then you can click on your alternate, and you can go through that way. I like to, once the alternate has been created, I like to stay in the base bid itself and using on-screen takeoff, this little window right here, the bid view, I like to switch in between my alternates this way. So I've created an alternate, and it is for upgrading this 2x2 ceiling system right here. So they just want a price difference. They don't want three separate prices that they have to figure out. They just want to know what's going to be the additional charge. Basically, they want to figure out what's going to be the upcharge for installing this 2x2 ceiling. So your first process is to go ahead and take off the area the same way that you did on your original base bid. But you just want to do this alternate area that you've taken off. You don't want to do the whole entire bid. You just want to do this alternate area to find out what the difference is going to be, basically the add. So you've installed, on your whole entire project, you've installed the 2x4 ceiling system. So in this area, you need to deduct it. So what you want to do is you want to take this area right here that is your original 2x4 15/16 grid system, and you want to count as a negative quantity on there. And what it'll do is it'll basically give you a negative quantity for that area. And then also you want to install a 2x4 ceiling system, a 2x2 ceiling system in the exact same area. And you want that to be a positive number because that's what you're going to be installing. So what will happen is when you go over to QuickBid, you're going to have your alternate created in QuickBid. So you'll have your base bid here, and you're going to have your alternate that you've created in here. And there's really no real quick way to switch in between these two. You want to have the bid navigator window opened up so you can start switching around in between these. So go ahead and click on your alternate that you've created for an additional 2x2 grid system and tabular tile. I called mine additional for 2x2 grid and tabular tile upgrade. And you're going to have your two quantities in here. You're going to have your original ceiling system, which was 500 square feet at a 2x4 ceiling system. And you want to take your pricing from your original ceiling system, because you want to deduct exactly what you've taken out. So I go to my base bid and I find the area that I've taken off and assign an assembly to, and what I usually do is just copy the whole entire thing, and then I close it out. I go to my alternate and go to this area right here, and now it's going to be counted as a negative quantity. And you basically just want to go ahead and paste it in there, and I've already done that, so I don't need to do it again. And it basically gives you the same area that you've installed, but now it's taking it all back out. So that area is basically all taken out. So you've got a negative cost of $2,230 for that area. Well, now you want to price out for installing a 2x2 ceiling system with a tabular tile. Here you have your hanger wires, your perimeter wires, your wall angle screws, your Burt clips, your grid. This is for cutting in grid, this is for field grid, this is my seismic, this is my seismic post, hanger wires for the seismics, and then we've got your ceiling tile. We've got the lineal feet that you can cut in a day, and then your field tile of what you're going to be installing. So now you're going to have a price of $2,800, $804 to install this ceiling system. So what happens is that you have a positive here and a negative here, and that's going to give you your difference in your price. So when a contractor asks you, say, hey, how much more is it going to be to install a 2x2 grid system with a Takeoff tile. You can tell them it's going to be $574 to do that. It's basically going to be an upcharge of $574. So they'll have that. You can go to your base bid and you'll have your base bid $6,524, and then you'll have your alternate, which is going to be an add. It's going to be an addition for 2x2 grid and Takeoff tile upgrade. And say they want to go ahead and do it, you'll just click it off right here. It'll give a price of $7,098, and that's what you're basically going to be charging for doing that type of situation. So say that they also want another price for they're basically going to ask you what's going to be a deduct. Their scenario is that they're going to be installing this grid system right here, and in this area they don't want you to install the ceiling tile and provide it. So what they're asking you to do is they say, hey, this area right here we want you to complete out as the basic price, and then this area right here we want you to upgrade the 2x2 ceiling, but we want the 2x2 grid system in there, but we don't want you to install the ceiling tile and provide it also. So they say that they've got some overhead work. It's going to be a long time before they install it, so they want to purchase it themselves and they want to install it themselves. They don't want you to give them a price for it. So they go, how much can you deduct from your base bid to give us a price for not installing the ceiling tile nor providing it? So you're basically going to do what you did before. You're going to start with what you originally had. You're going to basically come over to this area right here, and you're going to take it all and set as a negative quantity. Because, oops, you do not want to do that to that one. Okay, so this one right here is going to be set as a negative quantity because that is part of your base bid, and you need to take that part of your base bid out. You are going to install a 2x2 ceiling system, but only the grid system. So this is still going to be a positive, but it is going to cost less money because of you're not going to be paying for ceiling tile, nor you're going to be installing it. So now you have your two numbers, and you want to go over to your quick bid, and this alternate right here is going to be for your deduct. I might have missed that one step where you created another alternate. So anyways, you're going to switch over to your second alternate, which is going to be a deduct for no tile in the 2x2 grid system. And you're going to go over your conditions, and you're going to have your original ceiling system that you're going to take out, and it's basically the same process. You're going to go to your original ceiling system, take your assembly, copy it, and then paste it in here, and then it'll come up as a negative number. It'll take out basically what you're not going to be doing. Then on your 2x2 ceiling system, same ceiling system as before, but as you notice at the bottom here, we don't have any lineal foot cuts, and we don't have any field tile installed, but we do have the system as far as hanging the grid system. We have your hanger wires, your perimeter wires, your wall angle screws, your Burt clips, your grid system right here. We have cutting in grid, your field grid, your seismics, your seismic post, and your seismic wires, but no ceiling tile. So the price is going to be $1,465 for installing just your grid system. So now we have a negative number of $764. So that will be a deduct. So if they want to go with this system, they want to install the ceiling tiles themselves, it is going to be a deduct of $764. So you go back to your contractor and you can tell him, all right, I have a base price of $6,524 as a base price. For the first scenario that you are asking for a new 2x2 grid system in that area, we have a price of additional price of $574. And then if they want to do a deduct where they install the ceiling tiles themselves and provide it themselves, you have a deduct of $764. So depending on which one they go with, and we're going to hope that they go for this one right here where they add a 2x2 grid system, you're going to have a price of $7,098. Well, you didn't get lucky. They want to install the tile themselves. They want to do a deduct. So you're basically going to lose out on $764. So now your price is $5,760. And that's what you're going to be charging them for that. And there is your add and deduct on on-screen takeoff and quick bid.